Hello, and thank you for watching this presentation about the Delaware Museum of Natural History and its exciting future. Like all museums, the Delaware Museum of Natural History has lots of stuff, both on view in exhibits and tucked away behind the scenes. What you may not know is that DM&H has over 2 million shells in its scientific collections, 75% of which are snails, and a juvenile humpback whale skeleton. These two items, the snail and the whale, the small and the large, are interesting examples of our role in the community and how we're evolving to play an even bigger part in developing a caring society that respects and values our planet. Last year, pre-COVID, nearly 70,000 people walked through our doors to explore exhibits, attend events, and conduct research. And we reached an additional 12,000 people with programs off-site out in the community. Our primary audiences are families and school groups. Another crucial component of our mission is scientific collections and research. Collections and research are what make museums unique and so important. On one hand, they help validate and inform our public offerings, kind of a scientific stamp of approval. On the other hand, they're a treasure of Earth's biodiversity, an awe-inspiring resource for understanding the complexities and challenges of the natural world. Unlike the encyclopedic collections of huge museums like the Smithsonian, DM&H focuses primarily on birds and shells, otherwise known as mollusks. Our bird collection has 113,000 specimens, including 36,000 clutches of eggs. This egg collection is the largest in North America. At 2 million specimens strong, the mollusk collection is the 10th largest in North America. To learn more about our shell collection, here's a video narrated by Dr. Liz Shea, our curator of mollusks.
I'm a research biologist by training, and I do research on deep sea cephalopods. And I'm also responsible for a large natural history collection of mollusks. So the collections at the Delaware Museum of Natural History are really quite large. In fact, we are one of the 10 largest collections of cataloged lots in North America. So we have over 250,000 boxes or lots of seashells and land snails and freshwater bivalves, cephalopods and chitons. We've got some scaphopods, so we really have the entire diversity of mollusks represented here in the collection.
So how are these collections connected to the community and our emphasis on respecting and valuing our planet? Here's the story of the snail and the whale. First, the snail. Among the 2 million shells at the museum, there's a little box with an interesting background and a connection to the future of scientific research. This plain brown package was sent by Irénée Dupont to Frank Schoonover in the 1930s. Dupont had recently retired as president of the DuPont Company and had built 2 stately mansions. One in Wilmington he named Grenoble, and the other a winter retreat in Cuba he called Xanadu. Schoonover was a renowned illustrator who studied under Howard Pyle alongside N.C. Wyeth. During his lifetime, he completed more than 5,000 paintings. Schoonover visited Xanadu in 1931 and gave Dupont a small watercolor of Xanadu as a thank you for his hospitality. Dupont subsequently commissioned Schoonover to paint 2 pirate-themed murals to decorate Xanadu. The murals, The Pirate's Dance Ashore and The Capture of the Galleon, are still on view there, although the mansion was appropriated by the Cuban government in 1959 during the revolution. Inside the box are the shells of 13 land snails collected by Dupont near Xanadu. Also inside is a small round case, not much bigger than a quarter, and it contains 4 tiny shells and a handwritten label with the genus and species, Macroceramus xanadu. Not surprisingly, the habitat of land snails has significantly decreased over time due to commercial and residential development. In this aerial view, you can see the dense development that's occurred around Xanadu since Dupont collected the shells 90 years ago. So this little box of shells has become an important historical record of biodiversity. But what good is this record if it remains locked up in our cabinets out of sight? Knowing that land and freshwater snails make up 26% of all mollusk collections across the country, We teamed up with an impressive list of partners for a $200,000 National Science Foundation grant to make this data more accessible. The partners include the Auburn University Natural History Museum, the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, the Frost Museum at Penn State, Harvard University, and the University of Michigan Museum of Zoology. Over 5 years, collectively, we digitized data for over 250,000 snails and made it publicly available on the internet for scientists around the world to research. This is one example of how this gem of a museum in Wilmington is joining major museums and universities to have a worldwide impact on biodiversity documentation and study. While some snails are among the smallest in our collections, in contrast is one of our newest and largest specimens. And unlike the snail, we only have one of these. In 2017, a young humpback whale died at sea. To tell the story about what happened next, here's a video from Delaware Online featuring Dr. Jean Wood, our Director of Collections and Curator of Birds, along with others from DMNH and the Delaware Department of Natural Resources.
We have here some bones from a humpback whale that originally washed up at Port Mahon and then was towed down here by the Department of Natural Resources to north of Pickering Beach here. And I first saw this whale a year ago in May, and it was just super cool. I have never seen a dead whale before. I never touched a dead whale. And so I went back to the museum and told them all, like, you won't believe what I saw this week. And they were all very excited about the opportunities this presented. If we could get some of the bones from the whale to bring them to the museum, to use them in our exhibits and our educational programming, to teach people about whales, about the ocean. I mean, the ocean is right here in Delaware. And so this is a great opportunity for the museum. It's from Delaware, yeah, so that was what we really liked about this. It was a Delaware story. It washed up dead in Delaware. It was on the beach in Delaware, decomposing. We're the Delaware Museum of Natural History. And so that was a great story, rather than, we probably could have gotten whale bones from somewhere else, but they wouldn't have been a Delaware story. So that was one thing that we really liked.
The whale skull, which weighs 280 pounds, is currently in a shed specifically installed to hold it and other of the whale's bones while they dry out. But we have big plans for the whale. It isn't going to stay in the shed much longer because the museum is on the path of a metamorphosis. For the past several years, we've been engaged with our stakeholders, visitors, and members, asking them how we can be an even better resource for nature and science education. They responded, and we listened. So here's the next step in the museum's evolution. To be a place for relevant, hands-on science learning and to bring our science and collections to life, we've launched the Museum Metamorphosis Capital Campaign. This transformation will better reflect who we are as an organization and give us the opportunity to reach, connect with, educate, and inspire visitors like never before. And as with the story of our whale, we'll move from just telling about the past to creating more critical thinking about the world right now and in the future, and how we as humans are all connected to the natural world. Reimagining our main galleries, public spaces, and outdoor campus is at the heart of this metamorphosis. We're switching from static, taxonomy-based dioramas to interactive, ecosystem-based engagements. When we reopen in 2022 as the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science, we'll be the go-to place to learn about our world, how we are connected, and how we can make a difference. We launched the public phase of the campaign in February, and of course you all know what happened in March. During the past few months, however, planning and design have continued. While the design process is still underway, there are 3 main gallery areas we would like to show you. First, the Delaware Regional Journey Gallery. Each visitor will become a naturalist and explore the biodiversity of Delaware. The giant floor map and engaging activities invite guests to learn more about the unique ecosystems in the region, including the northern Piedmont, the coastal plain, salt marshes, the bald cypress swamp, and the Delaware Bay. Designated stations provide opportunities for dialogue about scientific topics and learning about what's happening in our region. Next, the Global Journey Gallery. Our dynamic, ever-changing planet hosts amazing places, complex environments, and fascinating flora and fauna. Discover the diversity of nature in the world, the interdependency of life, and how humans play the biggest role in change. Some of the ecosystems featured include the African savanna, the Arctic tundra, the South American rainforest, and the oceans, from the shallow sunny waters of the Great Barrier Reef to the deep dark waters of the ocean abyss. Our visitors will be happy to know that our iconic coral reef will be included in the new design. And what we hope becomes a new iconic future, the whale skull, will be part of the oceans area. Finally, the Paleozone. The Paleozone will feature new specimens and technology focusing on paleontology, the study of ancient life, and geology, the study of the Earth. The focal point of the Paleozone will be a dramatic presentation of species that lived right here in the mid-Atlantic United States during the Cretaceous period. Overall, this is by far the most ambitious and significant campaign we have undertaken since our doors opened to the public in 1972. Our goal is a complete reinvention, a metamorphosis, to meet the community need for a regional leader in formal and informal science education. This is where you come in. We need your help. Please help spread the word about our transformation with your friends and family. Stay up to date with our progress by signing up for a newsletter and donate any amount you can. On behalf of everyone here at the museum, thanks for your time today. Through our metamorphosis, we look to continue to share the story of the whale and the snail and many more amazing stories with future generations for many years to come.